MIIF UMaT Distinguished Speaker Series. Shall we give them a round of applause as they enter, please? Thank you very much. May we resume our seats. And as I was on Facebook and on UMaT's YouTube channel, where there are more than 50,000 people outside of this place tuned in. So this is, please, a round of applause for UMaT. If you're here and you're proud of your university, thank you. Welcome to the 2024 Minerals Income Investment Fund and University of Mines and Technology Speaker Series. We call it Distinguished Speaker Series for a reason. You'll be hearing a lot about it today. It's the second in the series. My name is Kojo Fripon. I work at the Minerals Income Investment Fund. I'm a very small man.
Witness the second edition of the MIIF UMaT Speaker Series. We are grateful unto you, our God. We pray and commit this program into your hands, that you will steer affairs, and every bit of it, Lord, will be under your control, and you will move it to a successful end. In particular, I commit the distinguished speaker of today's series into your hands, Miss Abena Amoah. With the energy that she has invested to get herself ready to speak to us this morning, I pray that your grace will be upon her as she speaks, so that what she delivers will appeal to the audience here and online. That at the end of the day, dear Lord, it will move the friendship between UMaT and MIIF. The friendship will become stronger and stronger, and the results that it will deliver will move our dear nation forward and give glory to your holy name. We thank you, our dear Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much, Professor Grace Sapon. So at this point, we want to acknowledge the presence of some dignitaries who are here. At the start of the program, we had the cultural troupe from the University Basic School. They've been here with us from the beginning, and they've been entertaining us to various dance, music, all the way through to this time. So the UMaT Basic School cultural troupe. We also have a number of staff of the university with us this morning. We have the registrar of the university, Mr. Matthew Okra, with us this morning. Also with us is the finance officer of the university, Mr. Jonathan Sakwe. The dean for FGs, Professor Anthony Ewusi, is also with us. And the head of Geomatic Engineering Department, Professor Sylvia Mante, is here with us. Head of Minerals Engineering, Dr. Clement Owusu, is also here. Dean for School of Petroleum Studies, Professor Bruni Bidiako, is here with us. And then earlier on, we met Professor Grace Sapon, Dean for School of Petroleum Studies. And we also have the Dean for FINS, Professor Cecilia Ade, is also with us. And then our auditor, recently he won an award. Our auditor is here with us, Mr. Samuel Ifa is here. And then the Dean for FMMT, Professor William K. Boa, is here with us this morning. And several other members of staff who are here, they are all here to grace the occasion. We are thankful that you've made it to this place. With us are also partners from industry. We have our friends from Anglo Gold Ashanti Biapre Mine, led by Superintendent Rosalind Dari. The Superintendent for Socio-Economic Development is here. And we also have our friends from Goldfields Ghana Limited. Here with us is the Finance Manager for both Papa and Damai, Mr. Albert Kujo, Goldfields Ghana Limited. As well as Elliot Chum. Engineer Elliot Chum is the head of engineering at the Papa Mine, Goldfields Ghana Limited. He's here. And they also came with a number of dignitaries with them, a number of interacts who are all represented in this auditorium. Also with us this morning is Iwam Williams, the manager for exploration at Atlantic Lithium. And we also have Augustine Amoah, the rep of the NCE. He is in charge of administration at the Papa Municipal Assembly. So thank you very much for this morning. So I'll call on Kujo to join me here and you continue with the introductions. We also have some big men from MIIF who are here with us and you help us to quickly introduce them and then we continue with the program. Kujo.
Let me start off with the chairman of the Minerals Income Investment Fund, Professor Extraordinaire Douglas Boati. A round of applause. And then the Chief Executive Officer, my boss, our boss, Mr. Edward Nanayao Krate. I wish a round of applause to the big guy. You can even look back and see who is clapping well and then say, it's got energy, can welcome me. And then allow me to bring into focus our Chief Investment Officer, Mr. Bobone Sapo. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit edgy about Bobone because he has a name that will hit with all of you, but I'll keep it for now. All right, Bobone? And then the Business Development Unit, the Investment Unit of the Minerals Income Investment Fund. Let's see all of you together, please. Please, shall you be upstanding? Of course, Solomon skillfully left out the Vice Chancellor of the university. Do you want to introduce? You all know your Vice Chancellor? You're sure? So if I mention his name, will this place come down? Please, a round of applause for Professor Richard Amoah. President here. You've won the election here, Prof. Thank you. And then allow me to introduce to you Madam Joyce Boache, Head of Listings at the Ghana Stock Exchange. And then I don't know how Solomon skipped it, but it gives me great honor to introduce to you the man who is head of the Chamber of all minerals in Ghana. And he's here with us. I hear people say H. So on this main thoroughfare of this university, you see a building with Chamber of Mines. I'm sure he was quite instrumental in bringing it about. Please, allow me to introduce to you Mr. Sulemana Kone. In my place, they say, that's maybe review. So once you've seen that one, please let above. Ladies and gentlemen, next up, the president of this university, no, actually the vice chancellor of this university, a very popular man here, as I've been made to understand, and he's also a skillful business development executive. Please, I give you your professor, your vice chancellor, Richard Amoah. A big round of applause to usher in for his remarks.
Thank you very much. I love the energy in this room. And today I believe that the power that is here, if even ECG goes off, we will still have light. Our distinguished speaker, Dr. Abena Amoah, the board chairman of the Minerals Income Investment Fund, Professor Douglas Boati, and other members of the board who are here, the CEO of the Minerals Income Investment Fund, Edward Nanayao Kranting, the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, my boss, Dr. Sulemana Kone, the representative of the Chief Executive Officer of the municipality, principal officers of the university, distinguished staff of MIIF, respected academics of UMaT, executives and members of the mining fraternity and companies, junior members of the university in statu titulari, distinguished invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the University of Mines and Technology, I welcome all of you, both those in this auditorium and those online, to the MIIF UMaT Distinguished Speaker Series. The conversation about the speaker series started somewhere in 2021, and it was at that time about industrialization. And through conversations with the CEO of MIIF and the board chairman, we had the first one in 2022 by the Professor Extraordinaire of Supply Chain Management, Professor Douglas Boati, who is also the co-founder of the series. And the topic was supply chain management and industrialization, the inextricable link. And this set the pace for many of the distinguished speaker series that will continue from there. Since then, MIIF has been very welcoming. And here, I don't have a hat, but I do my hat to the CEO for opening his arms to UMaT. And through various interactions, we went ahead to sign our marriage certificate, which we call the MOU. And within this MOU, there are very good things. For example, females who are in UMaT, who are from mining communities, have the chance of getting awards up to about 20,000 each for your education, so that you will know that coming from a mining community means something. Congratulations, see you. Apart from that, this distinguished speaker series has been established, and I'm looking forward to the 10th anniversary. I will not be here anyway, but then I'll come back to UMaT to be part of the program. But then I'll be on retirement. Apart from that, we also have what we call the MIIF Technical Training Center. If you walk by the petroleum, the GMPC petroleum building, you see that some facility has been fenced and coming up. That is what is going to become the MIIF Technical Training Center. And the package is so good. MIIF has released $2 million for that facility to be built within the next 9 months. And one very good thing about that facility that I like is that it holds a 500-seater lecture theater. So very soon the issue of classroom shortages and chairs and all those things will be a thing of the past. Today we are here again and ready for another wonderful event. We have the Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange to deliver on the topic Mining as an Asset Class, the rubrics of using the stock market as a growth pool for wealth generation. This lady inspires me so much. I met her at a program organized by the Ghana Chamber of Mines on mining and energy. And I tried to do some Amoah there. Today you call it networking, but generally it's Amoah. So I went to her, greeted her, and started a conversation. And I asked her that I hope that one day we will have the chance to talk about finance of mining activities and companies and industry as a whole. So it is interesting that today she is here to deliver on the same topic that we had a conversation on last year. I didn't take a picture with her that day, else I would have displayed it on my DP for everybody to know that, yeah, I know that lady too. As a country with so much mineral wealth, it is important for us to educate each other on how to invest in mining and reap the benefits. I trust that somebody in this room will pick the ideas that she is going to share today so that the person can move on from here, possibly to establish a mine and become his own chief executive officer. If we can get 2 people doing that, we have 2 chief executive officers and 2 new mines in Ghana. What about 10? It will just marvelous. Please let us take the ideas that are going to be shared and then move on with it. Let me mention in ending that if we want our country and our communities to have great benefits from the industry, then it is important for us to invest in the minerals companies when the risk is highest. And that is during exploration. Because if you are able to have a bite of the cake when the risk is highest, then you can have the benefits when it is already de-risked. We shouldn't wait for somebody to invest about 200 million into exploration, and when the ore has been defined, then Ghanaians start asking, why is it that we are giving all our resources to these people? That is not right. If you want to be part of it, start when it is beginning. And I hope that we all together will not just invest in selling hot pants and singlets and second-hand fridges, but as people in the minerals fraternity, we will do well to get even at least 0.01% in a mine. Eventually, it will be useful to us. I trust that this speaker series, and particularly today, will bring these things to bear. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. You know, I told you about the Vice Chancellor. He's so savvy. He wanted to take a picture, put it on his DP. Hey, how many Vice Chancellors in Ghana could put pictures up on their DP? You know, but I don't get the heat enough in the room, eh? MIIF is bringing $2 million. A 500-seater lecture room is in that $2 million. There's already a scholarship in the works for women from mining communities. And I don't get the heat in the room. Where's the charge? Where's the charge? I don't get the heat in the room from the boys. Heat! 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 You about to wear a guy, aren't you? Ladies and gentlemen, in 2021, around October, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, made a unique appointment to the Minerals Income Investment Fund. At the time, the assets and the management of the fund was around $125 million. Big fund. 2 years later, the assets and the management of the fund was approaching $1.5 billion. And it's out of that $1.5 billion that today MIIF is able to speak about support for the University of Mines and Technology. The man building Africa's #1 sovereign minerals fund. The man on whose head the dreams of the country rest. Please allow me to bring to the mic the Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Income Investment Fund, Edward Amoah. Granting. Let the applause ring. And while you clap, remember that $2 million. Remember the Women in Mining Scholarship. And also remember that lecture theater you are going to sit in. Another round of applause, even before I leave on stage. Mr. CEO, your audience.
Thank you very much, Kojo. In fact, maybe Kojo didn't mention that he is an incoming. I think we should give him a big round of applause for the good job that he's doing. That was a fantastic speech by my very good friend, Professor Amoah. I think he said it all. I wonder whether I can add anything to it. But distinguished Vice Chancellor, my good friend, Professor Amoah, the Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Ms. Abena, Doctor, whom I call my mentor, and of course she's actually my mentor. The Board Chair of MIIF, Professor Douglas Boateng, calls our own boss, Suleiman Koli, the MD of the Chamber of Mines, captains of industry, pension funds, fund managers, lecturers, our illustrious students at this great university, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely delighted to be here once again for this UMaT MIIF Distinguished Speaker Series. The Speaker Series, for me, is a highlight of the year as the CEO of MIIF, because to me this forms a real engagement between industry and academia. That's an all-important prescription needed to create a value laden mining industry. The MIIF UMaT Distinguished Series is a scholarly engagement of mining industry players by an accomplished academic or professional on critical themes that are intended to optimize or optimally increase Ghana's benefits from mining. It is what we refer to as a thought leadership approach to prescribing solutions for the many challenges we see in mining today in Ghana. We also see these engagements as one of the many ways to add value. The theme of this year's Distinguished Speaker Series is mining as an asset class, the rubrics of using the stock market as a growth pool for wealth generation. To me, this speaks volume to the vision of MIIF, to invest in value from exploration, mining, value addition, through to leveraging the capital markets to support the sector, localize value and create wealth for all Ghanaians. So ladies and gentlemen, I believe with this backdrop, it is important to rehash what MIIF is and the role we play. I know there have been some statements on that already, and Professor Mankwa has sort of emphasized quite a bit on what we do at MIIF. But just a rehash, like I said. MIIF was set up by statute, Act 978 in 2018, with a three-pronged mandate. The first is receive mineral royalties on behalf of the government. So for every single mineral type that we have in Ghana, with the exception of bauxite, every mineral type pays royalties to MIIF. The second is manage the equity interest of all large-scale mines in which the government of Ghana has a free carried interest. As you all will know, by law, Ghana has a free carried interest of up to 10% in all mining companies. That is managed by MIIF. The third is we invest these royalties and these dividends on behalf of the people of Ghana in a transparent, beneficial, accountable, and sustainable way into the mining value chain, or what I call the mining value delivery process. It's also to reduce government exposures to budgetary shortfalls due to volatility in commodity prices of the world market. So by this, it gives us the opportunity to define and structure product programs like what we have called the gold-backed ETF, which we intend to list. I believe Madam Amoah will talk about that. And also what we call the gold trade desk that is already in operation at MIIF. MIIF's mandate is underpinned by the vision of President Nana Akufo-Addo to make mining the first pillar of the Ghanaian economy by investing in value addition for every single mineral, increase Ghanaian equity in the mining majors, and support the mining value chain towards an extensive localization of value, which will create Ghanaian mining champions. I believe we're on an upward trajectory in line with this vision. But to me, a lot more needs to be done. In line with our mandate, MIIF has concluded a 40 million investment in Asante Gold Corporation, which is a gold exploration and production company trading on the Canadian, Frankfurt, and Ghanaian stock exchanges. We have concluded a 25 million cedi investment in the Njaro Venture Capital Trust Fund, a private equity fund, as a conduit to supporting the funding of the mining support services in line with Government of Ghana's local content policy. The fund is investing $32.9 million in lithium, underpinned by Government of Ghana's critical minerals policy. In line with this, the fund has invested $5 million in the holding company, Atlantic Lithium, which is listed in Australia and the London Stock Exchange, while investing $27.9 million in Atlantic Lithium's local assets with Barari BV for the prolific Amoah project, which will start production in 2025. This covers 7 other tenements in the central region. The investment in the Atlantic Lithium Global Company has seen MIIF become the 4th largest shareholder globally in Atlantic Lithium. We have also closed a 300 million cedis investment in the Adas Songo Salt project to develop a world-class industrial salt enclave which will eventually include a salt refinery. The Songo project, which has been on the books since the 1970s, is managed under a 15-year lease by Electrochem. Electrochem is a fully owned Ghanaian company. This project, ladies and gentlemen, when executed, will make the Adan Songo Salt Project the largest salt-producing area in sub-Saharan Africa. Just for perspective, the largest salt project or salt mining company, or what you call largest salt pans in sub-Saharan Africa, is the Walvis Bay in Namibia. This is 16,700 acres. The potential of our Adan Songo salt is 41,000 acres. It takes us 2 days to walk around that project. So imagine the benefits that will come to Ghana and the people in that community if this is even 80% utilized. This will perhaps make it the largest in Africa. So this is a very landmark investment that MIIF has done. Ladies and gentlemen, MIIF is also about to pilot what has been described as the most revolutionary financing initiative for small-scale gold mining in Africa. This initiative, termed the Small-Scale Mining Incubation Program, shall provide support for licensed small-scale mining companies from $200,000 to $5 million per mine. This support will be four-pronged. On the back of a detailed resource estimate, it will cover the provision of working capital for mining machinery, ensure strict corporate governance structures, institute a traceability and tracking mechanism for the gold produced, and provide a market for the gold produced by these small-scale mining companies through the MIIF Gold Trade Desk. MIIF is also developing a physical gold-linked exchange-traded fund, what we call the MIIF Gold ETF. This is supported by sustainably mined gold from the Small-Scale Mining Incubation Program. The MIIF Gold ETF will be structured with gold as the principal underlying asset, for which the security will track the price of gold. This will be the second gold-backed ETF on the Ghana Stock Exchange after the South African GLD. We plan to list this by September 2024. The objective of MIIF is to create sustainable generational wealth for Ghanaians. Our role, therefore, at MIIF is not only in funding or taking equity positions in mines. So towards the vision of creating a fully fledged mining industry and for mining to be a first pillar of the economy, our investment covers every single facet of the mining value delivery chain. This includes investing in capacity building and research and development. In this vein, Vice Chancellor, and I'm glad you had mentioned that earlier on, I'm happy to announce 4 major investments in this regard. The first is the MIIF Technical Building, which you mentioned. It will include a 500-seater auditorium, but will also include a jewelry-making training center. I believe we should cut the sword within 2 months here at UMaT, with expected completion of this important technical facility in 9 months. The second is the MIIF Scholarship Program for Women, which you lucidly articulated. The reason why this is important for us is that we seek to bridge the gender gap in the mining sector. MIIF has established what we call the MIIF Scholarship Scheme for Women in Mining. This starts in September this year and covers both undergraduate and postgraduate students. This is, however, open to only women or girls from needy families in the mining communities. The third is the Ghana National Mining Museum. Under a collaboration with 20 mining companies and UMaT, MIIF is spearheading the development and construction of a mining museum here in the Western region. is the establishment of a Minerals Testing and Technology and Innovation Center in partnership with one of the most recognized names in the continent. Discussions have already commenced with a plan to have it constructed and commissioned within the next 3 years. This will be the second such advanced testing center in Africa and will serve the West African region. We intend to have this set up in the Ashanti region. Ladies and gentlemen, to the theme of this speaker series, let's be reminded that stock exchanges worldwide are the creators of wealth and the main access to long-term capital. For the mining sector in Ghana, without long-term capital, our dream to leverage the minerals for shared prosperity will continue to be a stuttering dream garnished with illegal mining activities. Just for perspective, and I keep saying this when I have meetings with other people, there are more mining companies sourcing their mineral wealth in Ghana listed in Canada rather than Ghana. The Toronto Stock Exchange, out of over 3,400 listings, has 1,500 mining companies. The market cap of the Toronto Stock Exchange in 2022 was about $4.3 trillion, with 40% of the world's public mining companies listed there as of 2021. I'm pleased that the Distinguished Speaker Series for this year, Speaker Series is no other than the MD of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Ms. Abena Amoah, Doctor, who is also one of our most distinguished investment gurus in Ghana. She will agree with me that this is our time as Ghanaians to leverage our mineral wealth. This is our real dance with destiny. Please let us make this count. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, CEO of Minerals, MIIF. So, CEO of MIIF, thank you very much for this. Please, let's give another round of applause. Another round of applause, please.
Please, we are from Mass Theatre, and we are here to present a piece on mining as an asset class. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy as we journey through this piece. Mining is the process of extracting valuable minerals from the earth using appropriate tools and techniques with the aim of gaining profits. A lot of people see the mining companies making it big time and are compelled to use the little machinery available to them to engage in illegal mining activities, polluting our water bodies and destroying our lands. Yes, though mining activities has negatives, we can also talk of positives as well. We can talk of how they fund projects in various communities to improve the lives of the people in the community and how they offer scholarship to brilliant but needy students. Is it not funny? Is it not funny when how everyone hears of mining, their thinking is geared towards the fact that it's a money-making industry and that it's a gain, forgetting that there are two sides to a coin. Imagine mining stocks as picking stocks in a gold rush. Companies are like prospectors, digging for valuable minerals, find a rich vein, and their stock price skyrockets. That's your ticket to riches.
Finding treasure is a gamble. They have to explore first, which can cost a fortune and come up empty. Prices for these minerals are like the weather. Gold might be sizzling hot 1 minute and colder than a miner's heart the next. Getting permission to dig is not easy. Governments have their own rules, and sometimes other countries make things messy. Unearthing that treasure takes forever. You might be waiting years before you see any return on your investment. So, how do you become a better investor in this gold rush?
Oh, diversify your loot. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Invest in a variety of mining companies. Maybe skip the wildcat miners and look for experienced companies with a good track record. Do your homework. learn what they dig for, and the risks involved before you invest your hard-earned cash. There's more than one way to plan for success though. Invest in a bunch of mining companies all at once with a special fund. Think of it like a pre-made miner's kit. Buy claims and explore an area for yourself. But this is high risk though, only for real prospectors out there.
In the depths of the earth, where treasures lie, mining stocks soar, reaching for the sky, investing in gold, silver and more, a pathway to wealth, an open door. The stock market bears a growth pole indeed, mining as an asset class, a lucrative sea, with rubrics to guide and wisdom to glean. We build our fortune, a financial dream. So let us dive deep into this world of mines, where wealth awaits in glittering lines. Through stocks and investments, we pave our way to a future of riches, come what may.
Remember, mining stocks can be a gold mine, but they are also a gamble. Only invest what you can afford to lose. Mining is joy, minerals is wealth. Thank you.
JJ. Oh wow, a round of applause. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. As someone who didn't study mechanical engineering, nor goldsmithing, nor mining engineering, and as a proud student of literature, that rhyme scheme was top notch. Do you guys know what the rhyme scheme is? Yeah. This is not C is equal to MC squared. Is equal to MC squared. That rhyme scheme was top notch. The rhythm, the melody, the alliterative, pentametric beats. Everybody gets your own language. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause to those two ladies. You know, at some point, I was watching Dr. Abena and she gave up. She wanted it to end so she would clap for them. And the thing wasn't ending. And it was nice. And it was going up. She just relaxed and said, oh, this one, they've sold me. Please, another round of applause for the ladies. That was fantastic. Now, you've heard the Vice Chancellor, Professor Chidamankwa, speak about the Minerals Income Investment Fund. You've also heard the Chief Executive speak about the Minerals Income Investment Fund. But you may not have experienced the Minerals Income Investment Fund, except for Dr. Suleiman Akoni, who we do everything with, right? So, for the next 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to show you a fair few things done by the Minerals Income Investment Fund, or what we do, so that you can be apprised adequately of what the Minerals Income Investment Fund's role is. So please pay attention. You're in the lecture room right now. Credit hours for this is 2.0, 2 credit hours. You may be graded for this. So can we get some of the videos rolling? Ladies and gentlemen, you heard the CEO talk about Atlantic Lithium, MIIF being the 4th largest shareholder. Pause that, please. Pause that. Pause that. MIIF being the 4th largest shareholder, and the head of exploration of Atlantic Lithium, Iwan Williams here. Iwan, let's see you. I'm sure you saw him in the video. Iwan? And that place, as the ladies were saying, as of now, it looks bare, but what is underneath is going to revolutionize that community. So, a round of applause for MIIF and its incredible investment approach to Atlantic Lithium. Okay, now at UMaT, shall we see that briefly? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That's MIIF. I think we have a video on Goldfields and maybe Anglo Gold, but that will come a bit later in the program, so we'll see Goldfields and Anglo Gold who are here as well. A round of applause for MIIF, please. Now, when you're a government entity which is run by a professor extraordinaire, you know your dealings are quite different. For everybody here, I want to tell you this. The next speaker purely defines the thinking that age is only a number. Ladies and gentlemen, the professor extraordinaire, the board chairman of the Minerals Income Investment Fund, Professor Douglas Boateng. Please, a round of applause. Let it ring in the entire auditorium. Let it ring.
Good morning. Good morning all, and thank you very much for making time to attend. Mr. Frimpong says age is just a number. But when it comes to the needs, you know, sometimes it's a bit of a challenge. It's no longer a number anymore. And also when it comes to trying to get rid of the pregnancy, it becomes a bit of a challenge when you can't walk so far. But be that as it may, I'm still 25. And I'll keep going until I forget my name. Professor Richard Amankwa, the Vice Chancellor of UMaT, the management team and academics at UMaT, the distinguished speaker, Dr. Abena Amoah, Edward Nanaya Okranti, Mr. Suleiman, the fantastic team at MIIF, dignitaries and other invited guests and students, all protocols observed. Again, good morning. I would like us to start by respectfully asking you to picture this 10 years down the line, 2033, and the MIIF UMaT Distinguished Series, when it is celebrated, its 10-year anniversary. Just picture this. And with the way we are going, I think we will do even far better than that. Under the leadership of, hopefully Mr. Kranti will be there in 10 years, and the incredible staff at MIIF. In 2033, I envisage the event to become the de facto global deliberating platform for mining executives who want to be heard and have a desire to make a real and sustainable difference to communities in which they operate. I also foresee that those of you in this room that attended the 2022 and 2024 have since gone on to become CEOs and C-suite executives of mines worldwide, leading the way in shaping the industry's future and impacting lives and livelihoods of the people in the communities in which they operate. I also foresee that UMaT naming a building in a street after Professor Richard Amoah in recognition for his contribution as a Vice Chancellor. I think you should clap. Prof has been very inspirational in convincing me and my Chief Executive Officer that UMaT, within 10 years, should at least be the most admired and #1 training institution and educational institution in the sub-region. And we are on course to achieve that. With continuous support from MIIF, the speaker series in 2033 shall become one of the top 2 must go to annual global lectures for acclaimed companies of industry and academics. I foresee that. Also, with the support of MIIF and other mining companies, the Anglo Golds, the Newmonts, the Atlantic Lithiums, and many more, I foresee that UMaT becoming the most admired globally for some sector minerals, including lithium and salt research. I foresee that. So Atlantic Lithium, please, I'm using this platform to encourage you to support UMaT. But for me and like-minded professionals and practitioners, the most impressive achievement which I foresee in 2033 is that UMaT will be independently rated by the prestigious Financial Times of the United Kingdom as being among the top 3 mining, education, research and training institutions in the world. Oh yes, we can. I want to hear from you. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We are more than capable of solving our own problems. We do not need anybody. Thank you. With support, we will definitely make the difference to your future. And you know something? When I am fighting for your future, you know what I'm doing? I am also protecting my own future. I told you earlier I was what? 25 years. I've still got another 75 years to go. And I want you to make my life easy when I forget my name. So, together we can do it. I would like to take this moment to reflect on the founding of the Distinguished Lecture Series, an event which I am proud to have been co-founder and initiator. As the first speaker in 2022, I was indeed privileged to set the tone for what is to become a highly regarded platform for intellectual and industry discourse. As an unapologetic, anytime I start using the unapologetic word, it means I'm going to go off tangent. This time I would not. As an unapologetic Pan-Africanist and a social entrepreneur, I strongly believe that responsible, the key word, responsible mining and exploration can serve as a catalyst for long-term industrialization and socio-economic development. Today, when we were driving in from the airport, as soon as I go to the airport, Takrady, I started thinking to myself, this community. Yeah. Anyway, when I was driving in, I was reflecting. Manganese has been mined over how many years? Gold has been mined over how many years? And then I go to the airport, and our luggage had to be brought to the car park. And I asked myself, why? This morning when we were driving in, the roads, I asked myself, why? For me, the more we come together, the more we are able to develop our human capital, the better it is for us. We have the responsibility to use our resources to build the nation that we all desire to live in. And I believe that if UMaT, as an institution, is capacitated, the future looks very bright for Ghana and for the rest of the continent. As I mentioned, I'm a Pan-Africanist, and these artificial borders that divide us doesn't mean that we are not all Africans. When you think African, your market is 1.187 billion people. When you just think Ghanaian, your market is only 32 million. Think African. The resources are for all of us. Obviously, you have to give priority to where you obviously live. Thanks to MIIF, the now fully operational platform provides a forum for thought leadership. And today we are going to hear from one of the rising stars of Africa in terms of what we can do with our resources. You know, and also how we can use some of our resources for environmental management, wealth creation and beneficiation for the greater good of society. For me, with our reserves of gold, lithium, diamond, graphite, bauxite, manganese, and other mineral deposits, there's no reason for Ghana and the rest of Africa to have such abject poverty. What drives me crazy when I see mothers, you know, with heavy load on their heads and a child at the back, that drives me crazy. And I believe that over time, we can change it. I've always maintained that we are not poor as a country and as a continent. We just have poverty, which we have created and can correct ourselves. The unfortunate reality is that we refuse to acknowledge that short-term thinking is the enemy of long-term success. We are always driven by short-term needs. That is what is hurting our beloved country and the continent. Nonetheless, slow progress is better than no progress. We are inching forward, but at a very slow pace. With a collective effort, we can do better, without question. We must stop thinking about building for ourselves and instead focus on building for generations to come. We must stop thinking about building for ourselves and build for generations to come. Very, very important. To achieve this, it is imperative that industry and academia join forces, UMaT and MIIF, UMaT and other mining organizations. The universities and practitioners and organizations coming together would help to engage in purposeful dialogue that results in local empowerment and wealth creation for all, including women, who constitute over 50% of our population, our mothers, our sisters, our daughters. It's very, very important that we use our resources to empower them. Because when they are empowered, society will develop faster. It will be a faster pace. As one of the founders of this distinguished speaker series, I always take pride in its success. I am filled with anticipation for this year's event and speaker. You know something? Not because she's sitting here. She truly inspires me. And I learn a lot from her anytime I engage. And I'm eager to absorb the wealth of knowledge that she's going to impart today to you. I'm not here just to deliver a speech. I'm also here to learn from her. Watch out for this lady in the next couple of years on the global stage. I would like to end by reminding each of you in attendance of the following. Each of us is responsible for shaping our future and ensuring the well-being of everyone. Please remember that. Selfishness results in short-term gain but long-term pain. Let us strive to be the reason why someone keeps going, no matter what. With determination and positivity, we can overcome our obstacles and create a better tomorrow for all of us. A better tomorrow can be created by all of us. The best is yet to come, and certainly within our reach. It's not all lost. We've taken out a lot, but believe you me, there is still a lot there. So let us stay inspired and keep pushing ahead. May the Almighty continue to bless one of the most peaceful and beautiful places on planet Earth called Ghana. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Douglas Boateng, and Prof, may you not leave, please. And may I ask the Vice Chancellor of the University of Mines and Technology to join us, as well as Professor Grace Sapon, please. Ladies and gentlemen, can I get this to move a bit? Please move this a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you the Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange and our distinguished speaker for the 2024 edition of the MIIF UMaT Distinguished Speaker Series. Please be outstanding and welcome Dr. Abena Amoah. And she's currently the co-chair of the International Capital Market Association Pan-African Committee. She has broad-based boardroom experience garnered from serving on or advising several public listed companies. So she's on the board of Central Securities Depository, she's on Access Bank, MIIF, she's on Cosmos Energy, all of these. And by the way, she's an alumnus of the University of Ghana, and she studied at Stanford University, and also Harvard Business School and the University of Denver. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a tumultuous round of applause for Dr. Abena Amoah, our distinguished speaker for the MIIF UMaT 2024 Speaker Series. Thank you. And at this time, Dr. Abena Amoah, may I ask you to take your seat? And when she takes her seat, we can all then sit down, please, for our distinguished speaker. Please. Thank you very much. May we now take our seats, restore the podium, and get ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? Dr. Distinguished Speaker. And I have the singular pleasure to invite you to deliver your address. And with a round of applause, shall we welcome Dr. Abena Amoah.
Wow. Good morning. Where is the energy? Good morning. Good morning. The board chair of MIIF, Nyansa Kasa Hene, Professor Douglas Watson, and board members of MIIF. The CEO of MIIF and the entire team, Mr. Edward Nanaya Kranti, our host, Vice Chancellor of UMaT, my friend, and we'll take that selfie, Professor Mankwa, my big brother, CEO of the chamber, as well as all the executives here, Suleiman Akoni, captains of the mining industry, capital markets players, special invited guests, my friends and partners from the media. Today, and this honor, I dedicate to the students and the youth in this room. You deserve a big round of applause. I listened to the spoken word performance by the young ladies, and I said my work is done. They deserve to wear this robe. You deserve to wear this robe because you understand the issues. But I need to share a few things with all of us around how to act on the opportunities that today presents. So thank you. I'm humbled by this turnout. And to be honest, I'm very, very nervous too. The auditorium is so full, and I wonder if you all came to listen to me, or is it because of the item 13 that I know is going to deserve the Ladies and gentlemen, please join me. I know you've done a lot already, but join me to give a special heated applause for the leadership of MIIF and UMaT. sustaining this thought leadership series. I'm excited to see everyone here today, and your participation shows your own commitment for staying informed, exploring new opportunities, and contributing to the growth and prosperity of our country. MIIF and UMaT, thank you for trusting me with this special honor. I will try to keep this august audience awake. I promise to do that. Distinguished guests, I thought really hard about the theme. Mining as an asset class, the rubrics of using the stock market as a growth pole for wealth creation. And I have two sad confessions to make. One, unlike many of you here, I know very little about mining, unfortunately. My second sad confession I have to make is that I had to Google the word rubrics. You know, you are academics. And if you are not an academic and you don't know what it means, please find some internet and Google your own, because I'm not sharing what I found out. But one thing I do know about, and I do know a lot about this, is how stock markets, or what I call capital markets, can be formidable platforms for wealth creation for individuals, those of us sitting here in the room, for companies, and for our nation. I know a lot about that because my own alma mater, University of Ghana, just last year gave me an honorary doctorate for my contribution to industry. So yes, you can call me Dr. Abena. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of wealth creation is one I'm passionate about. And it's a topic that takes on new significance in Ghana today, where we must act urgently to solve our current cost of living crisis and deliver hope to all of you in this room. Distinguished guests, I'll share a little story with you. Growing up, my father's mother, my grandmother, Yabriye, I was fascinated by her room. Stashed away in what probably many of you don't know, in her room was her standing wardrobe. In that wardrobe, there were many prized damask cloths and little boxes that had beads, gold trinkets, nuggets, and gold dust. My grandma Yabriye would call me into her room. She would lock the door, open boxes, speak in very harsh tones, and she would tell me stories about particular pieces of cloth or where and how she acquired a particular piece of jewelry. You see, my grandma's room was my family store of wealth. Let's call it our vault. She traded in cloth, gold, and other goods to provide an education not just for her 6 biological sons, but for a community of adopted children, brothers, and sisters. You see, my grandma lost her husband when my dad and his twin brother were not even 1 month old. And she had 6 children whose survival rested on her. And so my first lessons in wealth creation and giving generously were instilled in me by this remarkable woman. She taught me that I must strive to create wealth, not just to profit myself, but to profit my community. And that the purpose of wealth, great or small, was to give to others in need. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the lesson I didn't grasp early enough from my phenomenal grandmother was how to trade gold. But I'm committed to changing that. I want to share a little bit about the history and the economic impact of mining in Ghana.
But assembled in this room are the true experts in Ghana's mining industry. So at the risk of preaching to the choir, I'll briefly touch on the positive economic and social impact of mining in Ghana. According to the World Bank, whose site Gavin Wilson, this land we stand on, we have mined gold for over 1,000 years, producing a substantial portion of the entire world's gold. It's no reason for no joke that we were called the Gold Coast. We are also known today as the 6th largest producer of gold in the world and number 1 in Africa. We overtook South Africa in 2018, according to the World Gold Council. The largest ever gold companies in the world currently operate or have operated substantial operations in Ghana. Newmont, Goldfields, Anglo Gold Ashanti, and Kinross, to name a few. In fact, based on the 4 million ounces of gold we produced in 2022, and at the average gold price of about $1,800 an ounce, the gold produced in Ghana could have fetched $7 billion in 2022 alone. In the 10 years to 2022, we have produced over 43 million ounces, valued at over $63 billion just from gold. Do you know what the value of the entire Ghana as a country today is? It's exactly the same $63 billion. That is our GDP today. And from just one metal, the production over 10 years, how much more? Thousands of years. We are leading producers of aluminium, bauxite, manganese. We are endowed with oil and gas, diamond, clays, kaolin, mica, columbite, tantalite, feldspar, chrome, silica sand, quartz, salt. So many. Our Minerals Commission has a map they go everywhere around the world with. If you look at it, you will see God has a special love for this land we stand on. We have lithium in commercial quantities. And here let me acknowledge this name. May no one ever forget it. Dr. Alexandra Opoku-Mensah, whose work in 1971, titled Geochemical Aspects of Spodumene Pegmites in the Salt Pond Area, pointed an explorer to come to Ghana and know exactly where to go and find what Atlantic lithium today has. Dr. Alexandra Opoku-Mensah, we say your name and we honor you. I think this is a thesis we must grab and put in that museum we are looking to build. There's exploration for graphite going on in the north of Ghana. And our government has identified these green minerals as the cornerstone for unleashing a model of prosperity for Ghanaian citizens. The mining sector, and I see many of the operators here, is the leading foreign exchange earner, accounts for more than 50% of foreign direct investments into Ghana, and is the significant, if not the largest taxpayer in Ghana. According to global investors, Ghana has superior infrastructure, energy ports, rails, roads, and we have skilled mining labor. Congratulations, UMaT and others, for them to do their work here in Ghana, and it makes Ghana very attractive. Essentially, in the language of our woke Gen Z population, many of you in this room, our minerals are mineralizing. Our resources are resources. They are papen and kasa, right? Distinguished guests, so I ask, why do so many Ghanaians feel poor? Why do our mining communities complain they haven't fairly benefited from the resources we live on? Why do so many of our young men feel so hopeless that their only way out is to risk their lives, and they know they are risking them, and all of ours, by embarking on illegal and dangerous mining activities that pollute our lands and water bodies? I ask, why have we dug and shipped out our resources for hundreds of years with no value addition? Why does the average Ghanaian feel so far removed from our most important economic sector? Why is our country so broke that we needed a 17th IMF bailout? And forgive me if I use the words, but dare I say, for a puny $3 billion to be disbursed to us over 3 years, compared to the value of the resources we sit on. Why? And in the midst of academics, so they don't challenge me, my unresearched, but I firmly believe in this answer, is because we do not own these resources. We just sit on them. Others own them. We don't own it. Because you see, ownership brings influence and decision-making rights on value addition. Ownership is what is wealth, not being a citizen of Ghana. We see evidence of abundant wealth when we travel abroad in the countries that own our mineral resources, the UK, Europe, North America. We see them, how developed their countries are. We see evidence of abundant wealth in the countries who own their own mineral resources. We've seen it in South Africa, Australia, China, Europe, and North America. You see, ownership of the resources and the journey to wealth creation requires capital. It requires what? And this brings me back to my favorite subject, our capital markets, and how stock exchanges can facilitate ownership of our resources and grow our wealth. Ladies and gentlemen, I hear so many people ask today, especially after last year's debt exchange program and its haircuts, the losses many people made speculating in the forex markets, and the many uncompleted and unrented property. Many people ask today, where or what crash can I invest my money in? Have you heard anyone ask? Have you thought about this yourself? If I say, what can I invest my money in? In the March 14, 2024 edition of the Daily Graphic, just this last Thursday, on page 32, there was a very bold headline. Pension crisis looms. Offshore opportunities viable, experts. Pension crisis looms. Offshore opportunities viable, says experts. This is so important. Allow me to share some salient parts of the story with you. At the recently ended 2024 Pension Strategy Conference in Ghana, experts warned of a potential pension crisis if the industry does not adopt a new approach to how pension funds are invested. Pension funds have suffered significantly due to the domestic debt restructuring and inflation spike, derailing the retirement outcomes of contributors. It is a reality that a contributor now faces a 6-year journey to recoup the value they lost. The story continues. The impact of inflation has been worse on our pension funds than the effect of all the corporate bond defaults we have seen over the last 10 years. With about 2 million contributors to pension schemes, and all the young people in here, we are coming to become contributors to schemes. Ghana had a total of $6 billion of assets under management, which compares unfavorably with Botswana, which has about 350,000 contributors, but over $7 billion worth of assets under management. This underscores a critical failure in the country's approach to pension fund investment, as the industry is over-reliant on government bonds at the expense of investing in the productive private sector, at the expense of investing in the productive private sector. And so their solution is that they want to look abroad and put more of their contributions to invest abroad. It's all our monies, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I think this story deserved to be on the front page of the Daily Graphic, not page 32, because these are the matters we should be concerned about and solving. You see, capital markets are powerful tools for wealth creation. And they do this by encouraging individuals, companies, and other funds to invest their savings into productive sectors of the economy. And this is exactly why the Ghana Stock Exchange, or Ghana, set up a stock exchange 33 years ago. The GSE was set up with 2 key objectives: enable companies to raise capital from investors and issuing them with something we call securities, and 2, to provide a platform for investors to trade in these securities, such as shares and bonds, with other investors. Stock exchanges like the Ghana Stock Exchange will facilitate liquidity, price discovery, and transparency in the wealth creation formula. Let me share with you a few modest successes we've chalked in our 33 years. We've established 3 markets. The main market for equities, MTN, a lot of the banks are listed there. We established a Ghana alternative market, the GAPS market, for the SME sector to raise capital and for new ventures to list there as well. Our third market, the fixed income market, is where you buy and sell treasury bills, and corporates also issue bonds for trading. Our equities market has grown from 3 million Ghana cedis in 1990 to over 75 billion Ghana cedis today, with what I call a domestic market capitalization of about 30 billion Ghana cedis. Our fixed income market is valued at over 318 billion Ghana cedis. Companies have raised a modest 30 billion cedis in long-term capital on the exchange. And our markets have returned on the equity side, on average, about 25% in profits a year, as measured by our composite index. Your exchange has been twice voted the best performing market in the entire world. And last year, we returned 28%, one of Africa's top performers. We also have a very, very strong regional and international standing. We are members of a project called WACMIC, where we are integrating the 3 large West African markets, the BRVM Nigeria Stock Exchange and the Ghana Stock Exchange, so that companies can raise capital across all 3 markets, mutually respecting the authority of the market regulators across the markets. We are members of a project called the African Exchanges Linkage Project, We've invested in technology that now allows us to trade across all of Africa's stock markets. Over 4,000 companies with a market capitalization of $2 trillion US. This is the opportunity for you. We are full members of the World Federation of Exchanges, the International Capital Markets Association, on and on and on. So these I needed to share with you, because too many people say we don't know what the Ghana Stock Exchange is doing. But we have chalked these successes. But despite these, hardly anyone utilizes our market due to certain key challenges that my team, Joyce, and the rest of us, we're so focused as strategic priorities to address them. Notably, there are too few companies and products. And that is why our pension funds want to look outside. No one is stepping up to take our own money in our productive sectors. Our markets are too small and illiquid. Second key challenge we are addressing is that though we've automated our own processes at the stock exchange, from trading to clearing and settlement, there is a serious lack of apps and digital tools for market access by all of you. You should lie in your bed, open an account, trade. And of course, our biggest problem, the low financial literacy in Ghana. Before I talk about how we are dealing with these, with particular reference to the mining sector, I'll share with you a little bit about the history of mining on the Ghana Stock Exchange, or the history of the industry on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Your industry, ladies and gentlemen, is woefully underrepresented on the GSE. The IPO of Ashanti Goldfields, now AngloGold Ashanti, in 1994, I think many of the students went born, brought hope to the ordinary Ghanaian that they would benefit as shareholders. This dream unfortunately wasn't realized due to the poor performance of the company for many years, for different reasons. It wasn't until 2007 that Golden Star Resources, which has now been acquired by a Chinese company, and in 2022 delisted from the market, came to market and successfully raised money from over 2,400 Ghanaians. In 2012, as the CEO of MIIF shared, a South African company, Absa, listed a company called New Gold ETF. And this company is actually backed by physical gold. In both 2022 and 2023, investors led to this asset class. Our pension corporation is the latest. It cross-listed on the GSE in June 2022. And it brought an investment opportunity closer to us. At this point, I want to applaud its leadership for their audacious vision to create a global gold producer with significant Ghanaian ownership, including MIIF. Who have invested over $40 million so far. This is the first time Ghanaians significantly own and control and can decide what happens at a significant gold company listed on Ghana, listed in Canada, and listed in Germany. It's something to be proud of. Distinguished guests, I think you will agree with me that there is money in Ghana, and indeed our whole region, looking for investment opportunities in the real sector. Let me tell you, Nigeria's pension funds, with their assets under management of over $35 billion US, is Africa's second largest, and we know Nigerians love Ghana. They have homes here, they have relationships here, they've taught us many things. They are $35 billion money of our colleagues look like us, do the same jobs, also looking for opportunity. We add Ghana 6 billion, and we say there is no money in Ghana. We haven't even tapped. Nigeria has only 9.5 million contributors to the Gambia scheme. Ghana has 2 million. Between our populations, over 200 million people with money looking for investment opportunities. The second thing I think you agree with me is that our mining sector has thrived and built wealth abroad for its owners, not for us, for hundreds of years. And so we must change that. We must begin to own a stake in these resources, using our savings, as they say, kitwe biensa. And you know what? Now is the time for us. As our government has implemented game-changing policies that can accelerate domestic wealth creation. And my top 3 of these policies are: 1, the establishment of MIIF, but not just the establishment of MIIF, but the appropriate funding of MIIF. You heard how MIIF has grown from 125 million to a 1.5 billion US dollar fund. You see what they can do. You see your campus. You see what wealth can do and can change us. The second policy that I'm really happy about, that means that we should act now, is the passing of LI 2431, our local content regulations. And the third one is our beneficiation and value addition strategy, this new strategy that we have passed for developing and managing our mineral resources. Ladies and gentlemen, after so long, this is where the rubrics come in, the word I Googled. The exchange in partnership with key stakeholders have started laying the blocks for success. And our initiatives center around 4 key pillars. And the first is diversification of products, bringing people that need the capital to come and take them. And we have done this by, let me borrow the Vice Chancellor's word, by signing our marriage certificate in our MOU with the MIIF. And this MOU says that 1, MIIF investee companies that qualify, almost all of them in fact, will be listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange to create an opportunity for you, for our 2 million, for our 10 million Ghanaian citizens, 20 million Nigerian citizens, to invest in these businesses as well, to give them the capital that enables them to grow and that creates wealth for us. We want to work with MIIF and have this gold-backed ETF and many others listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. We also are looking even at a fund where all of us can put some money into and go back to what the VC talked about without putting all our eggs in one basket. Can we have a fund that invests in exploration so that Dr. Amoah research from 1971, we could have picked that and raised $5 million, and we as Ghanaians de-risk that with the upside that our young ladies talked about in their poem coming to us today whole. The third thing our MOU looks at is that we are going to do joint outreaches to mining companies, and especially to mining support services companies, to raise capital on our markets and build capacity for localization opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, and thanks to Bubune, I saw an announcement in the media. Gold Goldfields, they announced that in 2022 alone, its locally registered suppliers raked in $806 million of procurements. Locally registered suppliers raked in over $800 million in 1 year worth of procurements. Let's talk about opportunities for wealth creation through ownership. Because the local content says, who has that money to go to? Ghanaian-owned businesses. This is the opportunity for all of us. The second pillar, in terms of the rubrics, is what UMaT stands for. Educate, 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 educate. To bridge the knowledge gap between the mining industry and the capital markets, the GSC in partnership with MIIF, the Chamber of Mines, and other players in the industry held a first in a series of stakeholder workshops. Just last month, there were over 75 people in the room, and even the mining industry operators said, ooh, we have stayed away from the real sector for too long. And it was very, very useful because we came together to discuss investment opportunities and capital needs of the mining sector. We are also embarking on site visits. So far we've done the Adasol site, my team and I have done the Atlantic Lithium site, and next week we are going to Asante Gold's operations here in the Western region. So I call on UMaT, the Chamber, and all stakeholders to support these educational and experiential outreach. The third pillar I want to share with all of you is that it's our work around preparing implementation guidelines for our local ownership. The Stock Exchange and our regulator, the SEC, have supported the Minerals Commission and the Chamber of Mines to thoughtfully craft implementation guidelines for LI 2431. Essentially, the guidelines seek to define the qualifications for mandatory listing on the exchange and the process and timelines for achieving local ownership in existing mineral producers. There are so many companies here, not listed here, but everywhere else. You know who's making money in trading their shares? Their own citizens. And no Ghanaian has the opportunity unless we export seeds. And so we want the opportunity brought closer to us here, as the mineral is here. We look forward to welcoming more than 10 companies that qualify to list on the market. Because all we ask for is an opportunity for Ghanaians to take part in the capital raises and trade in their shares. Just say you are invited. It's our choice to come or not. But don't say we won't even let you know about it. The guidelines don't only talk about mandatory listing, but it also encourages all operators to raise capital in Ghana, because we've seen that there is money in Ghana. And other people can also come and buy when you raise capital in Ghana. It's not enough to raise capital only in one location. And here let me commend the leadership and foresight of Mr. Martin ABC of Mekong and his team, and the leadership of Suleiman and the Chamber for your collaboration in drafting these guidelines. And we are hopeful that this year the Minister will sign them and we will start listing the companies, creating more opportunities in terms of the portfolio of mining stocks that our young ladies talked about. The final pillar of our rubrics, ladies and gentlemen, is a new area I want to talk about. It's a domestic wealth creation using a framework for beneficiation and value addition. Here we call for policy that requires and incentivizes opportunities for domestic ownership as value is added to our resources. I heard a few weeks ago that Ghana Manganese will this year, I believe next month, this April, will commence construction of a $450 million manganese refinery after 108 years of digging and shipping out raw manganese. There will be construction of a $450 million refinery. Where was the opportunity for local investors to co-own this refinery? We missed that when I saw the revenues this refinery will make in this first year. Ladies and gentlemen, I say that the MIIF model of investment in Atlantic lithium that gives MIIF a right to offtake production and byproducts, feldspar for ceramics, CEO, Dr. Mensah, she's also an expert in the ceramics industry. That model can be adopted to accelerate domestic wealth creation, because when you own the product, when you have a right of access to the product, then you can decide whether you build a lithium refinery or the battery industry. Then you will decide that I have the product, and so I will accelerate our ceramics industry. Ownership indeed brings decision-making rights. So again, I want us all to ponder. Is it time to reconsider government of Ghana's carried interest in mineral producers? Is it time for us to reconsider this in terms of production offtake? We've seen it happen in our oil and gas industry. Government gets some of the crude oil instead of shareholding. Because you know what with shareholding? You can load the company with whatever you want, and dividends may or may not be declared. But the one thing you can never take away when you produce is the actual product. Our local farmers even do it. I think there's a term for farm my land. At the end of the year, I get 1/3 of the crop. So why in the minerals industry, our government continues to say, oh, we have carried interest. We have 10% carried interest, and we are shareholders. And hardly any of these companies, a few do, as many ones do, a few of them do, pay dividends. And for years, these minerals, 40 million plus in the last 10 years, have been shipped out, and we haven't had anything to look for. The value addition and trading opportunities such offtakes will bring to all of us. This is an area let's start considering and see how we can bring this forward. And I raise these because similar pillars have built the world's best mining stock markets, creating wealth for their citizens. And I'd like us to consider a few. Australia, far down under. I'm yet to go there. But it has a long-standing reputation as a prominent mining powerhouse, particularly in iron ore, coal, gold, lithium, and other minerals. The Australian Securities Exchange hosts a large number of global metals companies. The junior and intermediate sectors raised a total of $3.9 billion in 2023 alone on the Australian Stock Exchange. The ASX is the second largest in terms of junior and intermediate financing for the mining industry, just behind Toronto. The prominence of Australia in the mining sector is complemented by the pivotal function of the ESS in enabling investments. And this has shaped the lives of Australians, fostering economic prosperity, creating employment opportunities, facilitating wealth generation, and capitalizing infrastructure development. Canada, my second example, is endowed with plentiful natural resources, gold, silver, copper, uranium. The Toronto Stock Exchange and Toronto's TSX Venture Exchange serve as pivotal stages for the listing of mining enterprises, not just on Canada's vibrant sector, but also those of other countries like Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of 2023, there were over 1,100 mining companies on the TSX market. On the ventures, over 900, and the main exchange, over 190. And 900 ETFs, 900, many backed by minerals. The industry financed over 7 billion Canadian dollars, 1/3 of all financing transactions, mostly through private placements. And the statistic I find most interesting, do you know the average financing size on the TSX, the big market, was 42 million Canadian dollars. That's the average financing size. People are there raising 10 million, 15 million, 20 million. Some are raising billions. But on the TSX Ventures, the average financing size is 3 million Canadian dollars, less than $2.5 million US dollars. Are you saying Ghanaians don't have $2.5 million? I know people in this room I will shake right now and that will fall out of their pockets. We have the money, we don't know how to invest it. There are about 40 companies, 40, listed on the TSX, who have significant or their only assets in Ghana. Over 40 of them. In Canada, they are listed there. Their most significant or their only assets is here in the bushes in Ghana, in towns I can't even, whose names I don't know. And there are only 2 companies listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange from this sector. A Canadian teacher has more opportunities to make wealth than the Ghanaian who will say owns the assets. And here in Africa, let me talk about South Africa and Botswana. Ladies and gentlemen, as a major producer of platinum, gold, and diamonds, South Africa holds a prominent position in the global mining arena. The Johannesburg Securities Exchange, or JSE, has over 50 listed basic metals companies. It provides a platform for investors to engage with South Africa's mining sector, and they attract investment from all over the world, including other African countries. Botswana, in 2023, renegotiated with De Beers for a larger share in the production of their diamonds with their BSE-listed Botswana. You see, the achievements of thriving mining nations and the symbiotic relationship with their stock markets shows that the inclusion of mining as an asset class within investment portfolios yields substantial returns and contributes to wealth generation. Distinguished guests, let me share a few remarks made by our Honorable Minister John Jimapo at the Ghana Mining Day in Toronto just a couple of weeks ago. Our minister said, government is seeking strategic partnerships with the private sector for the exploitation of its minerals, and that cabinet had approved a policy for the programs, which include investment incentives and the assurance of optimal return on investment. Optimal return on investment. I really like that part. He also continued that on local content and local participation, government wants to ensure that Ghanaians, who are by law the owners of the mineral resources, benefit from the mining industry, and that government will do this in a manner that is not detrimental to the interests of investors. For it recognizes that investors are its natural partners working towards the same goal, that is the exploitation of the mineral resources for our collective benefits. Are we investors that our minister was talking to? When it says he wants to partner with investors, we are absolutely absent from that thing. But MIIF has shown us the way. It's shown us how Ghanaians can be investors in these ventures. And I saw and I see how project owners, how advisors, how teams look at MIIF with respect and invite MIIF to things around the world today because they are investors, they have capital, they put skin in the game. We must be investors, learning from MIIF, partnering with MIIF to benefit from the optimal return on investments that government often avails to foreign investors. If we do this well, maybe over time we will flip to write foreign, not local content laws. As I heard Mr. Yokoman say, we will write foreign, not local content laws, because we are using our capital to participate in these ventures. But we must act now, right now. We can't keep talking about this. The time is right. As my dear friend and mentor, Mr. Herbert Wiggle, of blessed memory, would say, there is such a thing as running out of time. It's not 3 for 3:30 for 4. We will run out of time if we don't act now. We must act with purpose, speed, and urgency, because there is such a thing as running out of time. Distinguished, in conclusion, unlocking the potential and elevating the mining asset class on the GSE has far-reaching implications for Ghana's economic development and our mining industry's sustainability. It requires a collaborative effort from regulators, educators, market participants, and mining companies to create an environment that fosters responsible investment, transparency, and long-term wealth creation. We can neither afford to be poor pensioners nor watch our pension contributions Japan to go develop other countries, when there are so many viable opportunities right here in Ghana that are close to us today. Together, we must build our productive sectors, largely with our contributions and crowding others, to ensure dignity for all in retirement. The Ghana Stock Exchange calls on all partners to act at once on this opportunity. I'll leave you with a short story. I am a Rosa. Are there any roses in the house? Woo! Hey, sister. An old student of St. Rose's then secondary school in Akwetia. I say Akwetia. I lived in Akwetia for 7 years, and it used to be a leading gold producing area. I saw how green and prosperous the GCD part of town was. Ghana Consolidated Diamond. big expanses, was so beautiful every time I went there. Sadly, the only visible signs of prosperity in Akwetia outside of the GCD areas were the numerous antennas on bamboo sticks on top of still ramshackle homes. That indicated that at least the occupants of those ramshackle homes could afford a television and maybe a DVD recorder. That was the only visible sign. Our development in Ghana and globally must be equitable. And the opportunity to invest our savings in our abundant minerals can create wealth to generate more capital, creating a virtuous cycle. If you've been to my office, you would see there is a stone sitting on my desk. There's a stone sitting on my desk. I got that stone from Atlantic Lithium. Don't tell me how I got it. Don't ask me to say how I got it. From Atlantic Lithium, when I visited their site last year. It contains lithium spodumene. This stone on my desk serves as a daily reminder to me, I touch it every day, that Ghanaians are depending on me. That Ghanaians are in fact depending on all of us to change the narrative in our lifetime. In our lifetime. Prof said we should say what? Yes, we can. As China and India has shown us that we can. Because ladies and gentlemen, yen ara yasasini, and yet abodin emaye. Help me to sing. Yen ara yasasini, mojana na shegu nedeto omaye, edume ne wonsoso, seyebe yebi atwaso. Nimdi atwaso koto krani nya pese mi ninya edeya premuda bela pese hudo atse all mine yes all man for brane all mine sebeye yes, oh man for brand. So help us go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you for your attention.
Our distinguished speaker, and it's now a 2-minute applause to appreciate our distinguished speaker. Stay on your feet. Don't get over this. And the time is now. We have reviewed with a distinguished capacity and unique ability to create wealth for this country. Need to be reminded that we can run out of time. And I believe the time to rise is now. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, our distinguished speaker, Dr. Amoah. Thank you. Applause. Thank you. The time to act is now, and there's indeed such a thing as running out of time. And the last part, the anecdotal part, which really got to me, is when she touches that stone every day and reminds her that the entire country is relying on her to make a difference. And by transposition, the entire country is relying on us to make a difference. That's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen,
So at this point, we want to go into the Q&A questions, and then we see what are the burning questions you have on your mind that you believe that if you get answers for them, would be that reminder that will also help you to make sure that come tomorrow, you'll be in a good position to also leverage the stock exchange and get your business going.
So now we'll come round with a mic. So if you have a question, you can. Wow. Okay.
So can we have some hands up and then we take the first 5 questions? So the first one.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Abena, for your insightful presentation. I'm a minerals engineer myself, so I can relate very well with all that she said. My question is, what is keeping the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources away from renegotiating all the mining deals that are in Ghana? If there is any rep from the ministry, what is keeping them away from renegotiating the mining deals like Botswana and South Africa, as she mentioned? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person, please.
There is associated with investing in the mining stocks compared to the other asset classes.
The next question. Raise your hand and I'll come over to where you are. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I am Daniel Bingwedi, a final mining engineering student. So my question is, what are some of the efforts the government is making, or MIIF as an organization is telling the government to make to attract major industry players like BHP, Valley, and Glencore to invest in Ghana and then to exploit our mineral industry, to create employment opportunities for aspiring young professionals like myself and my colleagues here, to prevent them from going to seek opportunities in other countries like Togo or Burkina Faso.
Thank you very much. So that was the first question. The next one, please. Raise your hand and I'll come over to you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Rashid Abdulmajid Osman. My question is, you made mention that there are money in this country, which is Ghana. So I want to ask, how can we also, students or the youth, also get access to maybe work with these institutions so that we won't be going out or migrating from this country? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So when you are asking the question, kindly stand so that we can see you. The cameras want to capture you. The next one.
Thank you, madam. My name is Simano, offering logistics here. I want to ask individuals around 18 or above, can they, I know we are talking about mining and minerals here, but can they also invest in the Ghana Stock Exchange? And what's the minimum amount?
Thank you very much. So I think we can go ahead with the answers. The last one.
Hello, my name is Anita. I heard you talk of the ASX from Australia and then the stock exchange from Canada as well. What I want to know is, why is it that the industries in Ghana are not listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange?
Yeah, so let me run you through. I think we may want to start from Anita, because that goes to the crux of the matter. So
ASX and TSX from Canada, ASX from Australia. What is preventing the Ghanaian companies from listing on the stock exchange, or why are they not on the stock exchange? If you finish that, I can read the other four, or you want me to go ahead and just add? Okay, all right.
Thank you, Anita, for a brilliant question. First, many of the companies said there was no money, there was no capital to raise, or if they raise money, we wouldn't subscribe to those shares. And I've also shown now that through our pensions industry, and in fact regionally, we have grown our capacity for savings and investments. The second thing is that they haven't been required to list, and now we have a localization policy that requires them to list. Many companies come to the market first to raise capital, and then they use that capital to develop what they want to do. And that's why companies go to Toronto. These other markets have over years established themselves as primary areas of raising capital. So that's what we want to build in Ghana as well. Today we have regulation that supports mandatory listing for the big ones that may not need capital. But even when they raise capital, we are saying that they should also offer that same opportunity for Ghanaians, for the young people who want to invest, to put their money in. When MTN did the same, MTN didn't want to list, right? But a law required them to list. There was regulation that made them list. When they listed, over 200,000 Ghanaians bought shares. And today, MTN, they are benefiting from the profits of MTN, from dividends, from the share appreciation, and they are trading among themselves. This is what we must continue doing. We are already positioned as an international destination for receiving FDI, for receiving global investments. The offers can be launched here also in Ghana, and the same global partners will come.
First question was, what is preventing Ghana from renegotiating mine agreements like Botswana and all the other countries? Why haven't we done so?
Agreements, the process of renegotiating agreements takes time, and we've made some good progress. I think and the MIIF team can talk a little bit more about this. If you look at the agreements we've gone into with Atlantic Lithium, which hopefully will get ratified by Parliament this year, you would see that we have changed for the first time the structure of the agreement. MIIF is coming in as an investment partner at the local company, coming in to say that the spodumene, the lithium that is produced, we want a first right of refusal to the offtake, coming in to say that the byproducts, we want to take that and develop additional industries. So there has been some movement around that, and I think the new policy going forward needs to look at that. The point I raised about our carried interest, it's not something government can just get up and say, I've done it. Again, it needs to sit with its partners, working with the Chamber of Mines to look at that strategy. But I think that that structure, which for hundreds of years have returned a certain amount of returns to government, could be escalated by changing that structure into one that takes the asset.
All right, thank you very much. And another question was, what are the risks associated with investing in the mining asset class compared to other asset classes? What are the inherent risks associated with doing mining?
So mining businesses face a range of risks, from risk related to the prices of the commodity. Currently gold prices are strong, but many mining stocks are undervalued. A few months ago, last year, lithium prices were raising up the sky. Lithium prices came down. It affects uniquely all mineral stocks. There are also things around the quality of the assets that you have. So depending on what stage of the mining you are, for instance, with exploration, you may get in and then there's a good story, or you've done a good
results from one of your tests, your share price can move up, or you go and find something and it's not so great for the development, your share price can move down. So mining generally is very much, the risk of the commodity prices are there, the development risk itself is there, the mining community risks are there. But all businesses, all stocks, all businesses face a whole range of risk, but the risk does not mean that you do not go ahead with the activity. It means you put in place strategies to mitigate the risks if they happen, so that your investments are protected. And that's what good analysts look out for when they are recommending stocks.
On the back of that question, maybe my own follow-up question will be, have you pioneered or modeled a few Ghanaian companies at least to see what specific risks are there? Do you have a few, let's say, mid-tier or junior tier mines of the stock exchange to see whether they'll be successful at raising capital, whether they'll be successful in their business mix? Have you done something like that, or you have plans to do something similar?
So it starts with education, and that's why I think the partnership with MIIF, the chamber and all participants to educate the market. And as we educate in the market, our advisors are also coming along, and MIIF, through the leadership of the work they are doing in the small scale mining sector through that fund, should be able to show investors how to invest in these products. So watch this space. I think that the future for MIIF for investing in this very valuable sector is bright.
I just need to air this question, even though I'm not sure that it is a distinguished speaker who has to answer it, but she's on the board of the Investment Advisory Committee of MIIF. The question is, what is MIIF doing to attract majors like Glencore to invest in Ghana? It's the Togo question, so that people will not migrate to Togo to go and work, but they'll work in Ghana. And then coupled with that will be, what are the opportunities in the stock market that students can avail themselves of, so that they don't have to migrate? And then there's a final question about what is the least amount of money that you can put on the stock market if you decide to invest there?
I think the international community agrees that the Ghanaian mining industry, in terms of regulation and its attractiveness, is one of the best. And that's why in my presentation I said that the top 10 largest companies, probably half or more than half, have operations in Ghana. So we are able to attract international players in the market. What we don't have is local players. And my focus is, how do we build local players? How do we own some of these resources through our own companies? And that for me is the focus. I think there are a few things we need to tweak, additional incentives for international players, but I want us to change our mindset to what can we develop with our own? How can we co-own some of those international players? And what can our own money, our 100 cedis contributions, even everyone putting in 100 cedis, can't we raise the $2.5 million that Canadian is raising on the TSX venture? And that can become a $1 billion company. So as the youth, let's there's a need for a mindset shift from what can I get from others to what can I do? What can I call more of us together to pool our resources together to create wealth for ourselves? That is what will stop us from Japan. That is what will stop us from looking for opportunities elsewhere. So in terms of investing on the Ghana Stock Exchange, you can invest through many angles. There are all sorts of collective investment schemes. With 100 cedis a month, you can invest in them. You can buy shares that trade. One of them trades for 5 cedis on the market. But what we advise is talk to an investment advisor. There are a few digital today. There's Trade Life by IC Securities. If you go online and Google it, you'll see it. There's CD Manager from FinCap Securities. You can go on the GSE's own website. You will see the Market Watch. You will actually see trading happening. You'll be able to take positions and on your phone to buy and sell securities. But you don't need millions to come to the stock exchange. You can invest in any of the collective investment schemes, and there are several of them, or talk to a broker who can open an account for you.
Thank you very much. We'll take another round of questions. What our distinguished speaker is saying is simple. It's safer to trade on the stock exchange. You'll make your money over time, and not Bitcoin, nor Aviator. Not Aviator. Aviator. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of questions. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Joshua Ini, a mineral student, and I want to ask how the future holds for we, the upcoming engineers, per the idea from the companies that will be established in the next year. That's that of the lithium, and then that of the salt pond, the salt company that will be established. How the future holds for we, the upcoming engineers, in terms of employment. And also, I want to ask about the investment. That we being a student, is it only money that we can invest in this mining sector, or we can do any other thing apart from investing money? So,
yes, next question.
My name is Ibrahim Latif Chiragro. I would like to ask Madam, you said there is money in Ghana. Please, but Ghana still borrow money from international communities, and currently Ghana is currently in IMF. Please, I would like to know from 2000 until now, Ghana borrow money from international communities. Please, the money Ghana government doesn't have access with that money, or
my name is Isaac Alhassan mining.
Oh, before. Your name is Ibrahim, eh? Ibra. Your name is Ibrahim what? Latif Sharo. I shall remember this day. Thank you, please. Yes, next question, please.
My name is Isaac Alhassan mining. Please, I want to know, is it only exploitation state that MIIF can support an individual or a company in terms of exploitation of the minerals? Thank you.
It's important to understand that the questions are not directed to MIIF. The questions are about today's presentation, mining as an asset class. I'm sure, Honorable Vice Chancellor, one of these days you should bring MIIF here for a town hall meeting. Then they can ask all the questions regarding MIIF. So let's try and tailor it to finance and capital markets and mining as an asset class, and the opportunity to play in that space. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Vincent Afu, economist. My question is, how is domestic equity capitalization related to domestic wealth creation? That is one. And the second one is, what are the risks involved in listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange markets as compared to not listing on the Stock Exchange market? Thank you.
Please repeat the question about domestic equity capitalization relates to domestic capital mobilization?
Capital creation.
Domestic capital creation, okay. All right. And then the second question is, the part B of the question is,
the second part of the question is, what are the risks involved in listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange market as compared to not being listed on the stock exchange market?
Thank you very much.
My name is Samuel Kofiana Notabo, Renewable Energy Engineer UFO. My question captured a small portion of the presentation. We all know that when it comes to exploration or mining, there is a risk attached to that. But when it comes to the opportunities, when it comes to the risks, all the members in the community are being affected. That's one point. But when it comes to opportunities, right now we all understand that we are trying to bridge the gap. But I also project to see that if care is not taken, there will be a time that this gap we are trying to bridge will break. In the sense that during the presentation, I heard a scholarship scheme was being introduced by MIIF, and it is only going for the ladies. What about the gentlemen also? Because we all are in the communities. So what if not the case that let's give a portion to the ladies and also a small percentage to the gentlemen? Thank you.
Thank you very much. For this round, we'll take the last question from one of our industry partners.
And you are saying that this gap we are trying to bridge, if we don't take care, the bridge will break. Okay, all right.
My name is Elliot Chum and I'm from Goldfields. And maybe my question is related to the last but one question. My question is this. What role has government to play? What role has local regulatory context to play in attracting these companies to list on the Ghana Stock Exchange? And I ask this question because I think the local economic climate play a big role. AngloGold Ashanti just delisted from the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Well, that was their primary listing. They moved that to the London Stock Exchange, and then now the second listing is on the New York Stock Exchange. And the CEO was very emphatic that they think that all the money they spent in moving headquarters from Johannesburg to London is going to pay off because they're going to see a boost in the performance of their share price on the stock market just by moving from Joburg to London.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
I think we'll take the last.
Yes.
We'll take the last question first. So, what role has domestic economic conditions got to play in attracting local players or companies onto the stock market? And what risks do you see associated with that?
That's a brilliant question, and it has everything. Our domestic markets, the economic environment, our regulatory environment has everything to do with attracting investment. But not just for the mining sector, it affects everyone. But there's also a chicken and egg situation, right? And the chicken and egg situation is who creates the domestic environment? We do. So if we create the domestic environment, what are the things we can do to have the type of domestic environment that makes us comfortable to invest ourselves? Because the thing international investors don't like is to be the only investor there. They don't like to come to places where they are the only ones. They like to see that there's a strong domestic foothold and then they come on top of that. Otherwise, they become too significant and they become targets. And so a lot of these initiatives we are talking about, government has a key role to do that. We need a stable macroeconomic environment, inflation that makes sense, cost of borrowing that our companies can function. Why would a mining company take a loan from a Ghanaian bank at 30% when they can take a loan in North America for 2% and until the recent inflation spikes, I mean, they would have done 2%, maybe maximum today they will do 4%. Why should they borrow at 30%? And yet, if we must import everything into Ghana, why won't our inflation be that high? Why won't we bring other people's currencies and their problems into our country? Why won't our youth leave the country? Because there's no production here. So we are saying that today we have an opportunity to start changing that narrative. Our pension funds has leased. Every month, our CFO signed checks to SNEDs, to Tier 2, to Tier 3. We are able to crowd in regional and international capital because we've put a framework that makes foreign investors love us. Half of all FDI, in fact, 70% of all FDI into Ghana is to the mineral sector and the oil and gas sector. Does it sound like foreigners have a problem with Ghana? What we are missing is there's no Ghanaian ownership. And so that is the part we need to start working on. So regardless of the macroeconomic environment, we, all of us, it's not from our government. The song says, if we yengara, each of us have a role to play. What's our spending, consumer preferences? If my next door neighbor will make plantain chips, why would I buy potato chips? So those are the things we need to think of and see our own role in that. Because without that, the one thing we are doing is not reducing our population growth. We will have a significant number of unhappy Ghanaians who can't find opportunities there. And that is why we must act now. Government has a role in terms of giving Ghanaians the right incentive, managing our economies well, but all of us must also hold government to account when they don't deliver on the things we expect them to do. So this is, I want to say, regardless of the problems, each of us has something we can do in terms of making sure that more wealth creation is done on our side. Otherwise, we'll make contributions, we'll go and invest again in countries that are already very rich, and we'll keep losing out.
Thank you very much. On the back of that, what's the future for upcoming engineers in the lithium, in the salt, and then in the other mines that MIIF is buying? So I don't know if you can answer that question. And then part two is it only in exploration that we can invest? I think maybe that one will be, I think the exploration bit, you can answer whether exploration gives us perhaps the best opportunity for investment, or maybe at some point MIIF will make comments and address that. So if you want to take that, if not, I'll skip to 2 questions of the day. But before then, how is domestic equity mobilization related to domestic capital creation and the risk involved in the market?
Yeah. The domestic market capitalization really indicates what Ghanaians' ownership is in the market capitalization, the value creation. And we need to create more of that. Today, it sits at less than 5% of our GDP. Less than 5%. There are countries whose domestic market capitalization is 300%. We've shown you Botswana with 350,000 people. Their pension funds assets is bigger than Ghana with 2 million contributors, with our pension fund assets under management as 6 million. Botswana, 350,000 people, is 7 billion. In the average Botswanan is so many times wealthier than the average Ghanaian. Okay? And so that is the part we want to grow. We want to grow that using all of us, our little contributions. And someone asked, is it only money? Yes, money is important. People think you can't save as a student. I used to be like you, whether you believe it or not. It was a very long time ago. I made actually the most money as a student. I was working as a research assistant. I found a way to be a student coordinator on campus, and I was earning money. I had no obligations because my parents didn't even know I was earning money. I was still asking for money from them every week. I saved that money, I invested that money. That's how I got to know about the Ghana Stock Exchange. And that money I invested made big changes in my life. I've worked, everyone who works with me, I've worked with a gardener before And I said, Evans, you've got to save. From that money, from his little gardener savings, which I was investing, anytime there was an IPO, I said, Evans, buy the stock, sell the stock. That young man had so much money at the point his portfolio was worth almost $10,000. He used that to marry, move out, and get a house for his family. So the key thing is that at the GSE, we have something called Young Investor Network. We will make sure they come here to UMaT. All of you have the capacity to look within whatever you have and have an investment, a savings plan, which you can put into investment. But after you've saved that money and there are no investment opportunities, then you go to bamboo, betting, aviator. The number of, do you know Ghana and Nigeria are the largest markets for the betting companies? Who's betting? Are you saying there's no, our Minister of Finance, where is he? That there is no money in Ghana? The value that we spend every day on these apps, the value of mobile money transactions, and I know most of them are for consumption, but as at the end of last year, over 1.2 trillion Ghana cedis, it's a lot of money. What are we doing with that? What percentage of that is going into investment vehicles? If we put those into investment vehicles, today our investment managers say there's nothing for them to invest in Ghana. So they gave all that money to government in treasury bills. What did government use that to do? He used it to pay salaries and run Ghana. Was that in the productive sector? Australia, Canada, US, name it. No one has developed with that model. The only development model is using these savings, putting them, investing them into productive sectors. So when we've gathered the money, but no one is stepping up to let us participate in their great investment opportunities, then what? And that is why we are adamant that good investment opportunities must come out of Ghana. It will create jobs. It will create a future. You don't just have to, you must put in money, but sometimes you must put in ideas. Don't say that you're a student, you don't have money, so you have nothing to offer. There are many of your colleagues coming up with appropriate technology that solves problems for us in Ghana. That can be your contribution. So there's a lot, all of us, every one of us has a responsibility, and there's something each of us can and must do.
Now to the questions of the day. One, Ghana, you're talking about all these fantastic sums. $1 trillion, 10 billion, 5 billion. Meanwhile, Ghana has been at the IMF since 2000. Is it because the government hasn't got access to this money that you talk about? And why does Ghana keep borrowing in the face of this stark reality that is indeed money in Ghana?
And that was a great, great question. That was a great, great question.
By Ibrahim.
Yes, Ibrahim. That's unforgettable. We sit on resources. The value of our resources shipped. That's even the one that was recorded. Shipped in the last 10 years was worth over $60 billion. The truth is we don't own them, and therefore we don't have enough resources. There are 33 million Ghanaians. How many of us are registered taxpayers? So there isn't enough money. And then the money we pay in taxes, how do our public servants account for the use of them? We are not asking and holding people to account in terms of the waste in the system, in terms of the corruption in the system, sometimes in terms of people just being inefficient. And so yes, that is why we are where we are. In terms of our productive capacity, we prefer to import and sell everything. We don't want to produce anything. There's been fights between whether everyone should be allowed to import 5 cars and put a margin on it and sell, or whether we should have an automotive assembly here and have these same people be agents and sell those cars. We haven't even decided that as a country. If we don't decide those, if we don't take those decisions, yes, there will be no jobs left here, or the jobs will be fleeting, and the value creation will go elsewhere. So I believe there's money in Ghana. I have seen, and it's demonstrated. We are building other places. If we all register and pay our fair share of taxes, if the people managing our public servants, as 800,000 public servants, including MIIF, including the staff of MIIF, who we have given them resources to manage on our behalf, can grow it from 125 million to 1.5 billion. And we have a system that allows us to take non-performers to task and get rid of them and bring in performers. We will be looking at a different Ghana. So there is money here. There is money next door in Nigeria. There is money globally that will attract you. Let's keep working at what we do.
And now the final question of the day. Will this bridge break? We're building a bridge for young ladies from the mining communities, but we are leaving out the men. And if we are not careful, this bridge that the ladies are working on will one day break because the men have been totally left out. Your views?
Thank you very much. And I think that was also a very good question. Thank you for that. There's a reason for affirmative action. There's a reason for affirmative action, and that targets gender. The GSE has been around for 33 years. I'm the first female CEO. I'm probably not the best person in the world, but what does it mean for a young lady to look up and see that she can be CEO of the Ghana Stock Exchange? Why did I go to University of Ghana? I went to the business school. 120 students in my year, my first year, and a professor walks in, 100 boys, 20 girls, and a professor walks in and tells us that.
Thank you very much. So now, one more time, a round of applause for our distinguished speaker, Dr. Abena Amoah. And for the rest of the day, that's where she's going to be seated. So there's a quick presentation from UMaT for certificates and then from MIIF as well. I'd like to call on the Vice Chancellor of UMaT and Professor Extraordinaire of MIIF. Can we get the certificates? And the Chief Executive Officer of MIIF. Oh, yeah, the question was not properly answered. So yes, please, go ahead. Affirmative action.
Thank you. So I was sharing with you me going to the University of Ghana, 120 students, 100 boys, 20 girls. And a professor walks into our class and says, the girls are going to struggle with accounting and maths. Team up with the boys who can help you. It was the first time in my life that I'd heard I couldn't do something only because I'm a girl. It's the reason many females don't want to take up courses in STEM. So what MIIF is trying to do is to show girls that they can do STEM, because no scientific evidence exists that shows that genders do STEM differently. The only reason half of this room is absent is because there are actual impediments to females pursuing their goals. But you are absolutely right. Along that learning is the things we must help men unlearn, so that no professor ever says that to another female. Thank God it was me, because I ended up topping the maths, the accounting, and the entire school. But another female hearing that will give up despite their more than able capacity. So as we develop this, we want to bring women up. And to bring women up requires more of an investment. But at the same time, we must also support men to unlearn some of these things that they've learned so that we are equal. The day you don't ever have to say this, it means our work is done. Anyone who wants to do anything, regardless of the agenda, is able to do that. It's through such affirmative action that today the mining industry in Ghana has a lot of senior black Ghanaian leadership. Because it used to be that if you called the senior leadership of mines in this room, you'd only see almost one color. And it wasn't ours because, again, they said we didn't have the skills or we didn't have the right color for it. So these things are important, but MIIF definitely consider an open additional support scholarship scheme where regardless of sex, people can also come in. But it's also very important that today, the things we are doing to empower women who, regardless of their academic brilliance, who regardless of working 10 hours in offices, have to go back home and almost take up 100% of the social obligations and yet show up at the same time as their colleague who went home but slept for 7 hours, didn't have to wake up to take care of the children because he's a man, and show up and perform as good as that colleague. So that investment has to be made. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just to portray what Dr. Abena is saying, may all the females in the auditorium rise, please. All the young ladies in school here, in this auditorium, please stand up. Please be upstanding. Please be upstanding. Professor Grace. Professor Grace. You're not a student. Oh, you're a young girl, but you're not a... Keep upstanding. Keep upstanding. Please, a round of applause for yourselves. And you have a charge to keep. To top that mechanical engineering class, the mining class, and all of those, right? So you can now resume your seats. And now, may all the boys who believe the bridge will not break, stand up. May all the guys stand up. Even if you believe the bridge will break, all the guys in the auditorium, please stand. And all the guys in the auditorium. So you see why we should build a bridge? You see why we should build a bridge? You don't see why we should build a bridge? Maybe MIIF will announce something too for you. But thank you very much and congratulations. You guys are in one of the best institutions in Africa and you are at the best time of your life. A round of applause for yourselves. And by the way, there's indeed item 30. But make sure you don't call anybody outside to come quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, now, after having done such great work, it behooves me, and it's my singular honor, to announce, oh please, kindly join the Chief Executive, to announce that MIIF and UMaT are jointly going to present certificates and a plaque of honor to Dr. Abena Amoah. So first, the UMaT certificate, Vice Chancellor. VC is cutting new deals. Vice Chancellor, the UMaT certificate. No, you stay there. You stay there, yeah. Please. So, no, Vice Chancellor, you walk up with it. Walk up with it, please. Yes, all three of you. And then there's a certificate of honor from MIIF as well. So this one first. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, from a certificate of honor from UMaT, presented to Dr. Abena Amoah. And then we'll change places with Prof. So this one is from MIIF. So Prof will change places and then, exactly. Certificate of honor from MIIF as well. Please, a round of applause. And then a plaque of honor. Yes, please. To be presented by the Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Income Investment Fund. So Prof, you change places with Nana. The idea, we hope, is that you put that in your office so that everybody coming in will see that you did this incredible job for UMaT and MIIF. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause one more time. Thank you so much. And now we'll do a photography session with Dr. Abena seated and the three gentlemen around him. May I ask Dr. Suleiman Akoni to join them? Thank you very much. And Professor Grace Sapon as well. So kindly take your seat, distinguished speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, let this be our tradition hence. A round of applause for Dr. Abena Amoah, presented with a certificate of honor and a plaque for becoming the speaker at the 2024 Distinguished Speaker Series, the MIIF UMaT put together. One big round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, you may now. I'm tempted to say 3 loud cheers for Dr. Abena Amoah. Hip, hip, hip. Hip, hip, hip. Hip, hip, hip. Thank you very much. Dr. Amoah still stays there. Thank you. Yes. Now, where's Solo? Yeah. Doc Suleiman Kone, a few remarks because you're an industry champion. Just a few remarks to situate it all, and then after that, there'll be a performance, and then the CIO of MIIF will give his remarks, and we're on our way out.
Thank you very much, Pedro. And I'm quite excited to be here to support my dear sister. But the reality is this, that we have always said that there are key 3 alphabets I love: O, M, E. O standing for ownership, M standing for management, and then E standing for employment. And therefore, when we are looking at for value creation and value retention in the mining industry, if you consider these 3 elements, we have done fantastically well, except the element of ownership. And therefore, I'm excited to be here to support MIIF and UMaT to do the advocacy for all of us to wake up from our slumber. That the whole idea of having what do you call it? Why is this word? FDI. The whole idea of getting FDI is not an end in itself. It is supposed to help us transfer skills and acquire knowledge over time so that we can also do it for ourselves. And if you look at the trajectory, and it is so true, when I joined the industry years ago, the very first formal meeting I attended, I almost ran away. Because about 90% of them were foreigners. But if you talk about today, it's changed. The last statistics we saw, about less than 0.8% of direct employment are foreigners. So in terms of employment, we have done very well. But the business link has to do with ownership. And I always make the point, if we believe and we know that the natural resources, mineral resources belong to us, why would we sit and allow a school teacher, someone so far away, to actually buy into these assets so that they can make the kind of returns that we always be complaining about? So it's about time we also put our money into where we believe will give us the best return. And therefore, this conversation we've started in terms of sensitization is very, very important, if not too late for me. The real question is, how do we do it and where do we start from? I have a school of thought that it all starts with exploration, and I've been quite passionate about exploration. Because we speak about mining, and we have students here. We speak about mining, and the general thought is that all you do is to get up and dig. But it doesn't work like that. And therefore, when people take the risk in exploration and make commercial finds, the law allows them to have ownership through a lease agreement. So it is incumbent upon all of us to support MIIF and the Ghana Stock Exchange to change this narrative. I have an interesting story myself, dear students. Abena spoke about her story, but what she doesn't know is that back, how many decades ago, I don't want to disclose my age, but Abena's father gave me my break in life, back in the day. And before then, I had been so interested in the capital market. I'm excited to be here to support MIIF and UMaT to do the advocacy for all of us to wake up from our slumber. That the whole idea of having what do you call it? Why is this word? FDI. The whole idea of getting FDI is not an end in itself. It is supposed to help us transfer skills and acquire knowledge over time so that we can also do it for ourselves. And if you look at the trajectory, and it is so true, when I joined the industry years ago, the very first formal meeting I attended, I almost ran away. Because about 90% of them were foreigners. But if you talk about today, it's changed. The last statistics we saw, about less than 0.8% of direct employment are foreigners. So in terms of employment, we have done very well. But the business link has to do with ownership. And I always make the point, if we believe and we know that the natural resources, mineral resources belong to us, why would we sit and allow a school teacher, someone so far away, to actually buy into these assets so that they can make the kind of returns that we always be complaining about? So it's about time we also put our money into where we believe will give us the best return. And therefore, this conversation we've started in terms of sensitization is very, very important, if not too late for me. The real question is, how do we do it and where do we start from? I have a school of thought that it all starts with exploration, and I've been quite passionate about exploration. Because we speak about mining, and we have students here. We speak about mining, and the general thought is that all you do is to get up and dig. But it doesn't work like that. And therefore, when people take the risk in exploration and make commercial finds, the law allows them to have ownership through a lease agreement. So it is incumbent upon all of us to support MIIF and the Ghana Stock Exchange to change this narrative. I have an interesting story myself, dear students. Abena spoke about her story, but what she doesn't know is that back, how many decades ago, I don't want to disclose my age, but Abena's father gave me my break in life, back in the day. And before then, I had been so interested in the capital market. How old was I? I think about 21, 22 thereabout. Because I had read this book, Cain and Abel. How many have read Cain and Abel? It tickled my fancy. You wouldn't believe it, when I was doing my national service, we had an IPO. And which IPO is this? Family. Students, you don't have to be rich to invest on the Ghana Stock Exchange. I use 50% of my national service allowance to invest in family. Today, I don't want to tell you the value of this investment. The reality is that the stock market has long gestation. And because you are also youth, it is important that we take advantage of this long gestation. Again, the mining industry also has very, very long gestation. So you can see all of that actually coming together for the youth of this country to actually show interest in the mining industry and invest, especially through the Ghana Stock Exchange. There are questions around changing the fiscal regime, looking at a different model, and I think it's about time we actually have this conversation. But the reality is this, that we are not an island. Ghana is not an island when it comes to mining investment. And whatever we do, we should ensure that we are competitive. I sat on a panel with the then Minister for Mines and Geology way back about 5 years ago at the PDAC, one of the site sessions. And when Egypt had decided to actually expand and go into the mining industry, he had actually advocated that they wanted to go into production sharing agreement. What are they going to mine? They are going to mine gold. I came back and I asked my research team, let's monitor what is going to happen on this particular matter. A few years ago, I realized through research, we realized that they have recalled and they have gone through a royalty arrangement. So I think the important thing is to scan the environment and find out what is really happening. It doesn't mean that it is not doable. The important thing is that we continue to be competitive because, as we all know, investment is extremely fungible. As we speak, we have competition, not just globally, but even within West Africa. So it's important that as much as possible, let's be competitive. Let's make sure that whatever fiscal arrangements we want to have would continue to put us there as the #1 gold producer in Africa, and continue to look at how we can retain value within the country. For me, that is the most important thing. I thank you very much for it.
So
This is even basic school. You see the morale in the basic school? A round of applause for There was only one song I was hoping they would sing. Beyede namakoso mapiswa ewa yedu into piswa mapiswa
when we were going to do our investment in Atlantic League, one of the things he said was that the rocks at Mankinsin were being used as boulders for. Want to say that one of the things we are hoping at MIIF to happen is that there should be a linkage between academia, industry, and capital. Right? We've had an example of a transaction like that has not progressed much. And I'll give you that example. Activated carbon, it's used by most of the mining companies. Research has been done. Professors in this university have the technology for creating activated carbon. But we're importing over $20 million worth of that from all over. It sits on us in this room. And I'm throwing that challenge to the students in there, young professionals, that create something. I know a lot of us get excited about going to work in all the big mining companies, and we're probably going to reach out to the people from the mining companies to make sure when you're done with school you can get a job. But there's a satisfaction that comes from building your own business, and the work that you can create out of that it's not, you can't compare to being the salary worker in some office. So I want us to take that thing from this discussion today, that the capital market is there to make sure that anyone, and for me, the capital market is probably one of the fairest places that when you have an idea, it is valid, it's feasible, and people see and you can communicate your story to the public, they would put money in your business. Everybody would run towards a good idea, but it begins on us to be able to build those ideas, build those businesses, and then capital would come after us. We're talking about TSV, which is a venture fund on the TSS. It all depends on a venture. The whole idea of a venture is just trying something, exploration work, building that business, going to market, telling your story that, look, this is what we have done with our own limited resources, and we're looking for partners to come in with us. And nobody would invest. We have been doing investments if you haven't got any skin in that thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be capital or money. It is your commitment, your time, making sure that you're first of all investing in yourself to build your capacity. And then when you pitch your business to us, we are constantly on the lookout for opportunities. One of the biggest problems we have now is actually finding the right opportunities to invest in.
I'd like to thank everybody who attended this event. It's been remarkable. Thanks to the university for a great job. Professor Richard Amoah and your team, you've been immense. We know that working with MIIF sometimes comes with going the extra mile. But when we asked for the extra mile, you actually gave us more than what we wanted. So thank you immensely. Please, a round of applause for the university. And now to our mining chieftains, you have been incredible as well. Atlantic Lithium is here, Goldfields as well, Anglo Ashanti. Am I missing any of the mining companies here? Sure, Ashanti Gold? Okay, all right. Thank you very much for coming as well. Please, a round of applause for yourself. The industry chief, Dr. Suleiman Akoni. one person representative. When you see Dr. Connie, you've seen all the minds in Ghana. So in him alone, we have Asante Gold, Sharano, we have Asanka, which one else? We have Adamus, we have all the mining companies are represented in Dr. Suleiman Connie alone. He's the chief executive of the Chamber of Mines Ghana. And one day soon, somebody here in this audience will aspire to that position as chief executive of the Chamber of Mines. And then, finally, to our distinguished speaker, he has been immense. As we say in UMaT, you do all, because you've just been incredible, and you've spoken right down to what we need to do. As you say, the rubrics. What we need to do to turn this economy around. And having engaged your vast knowledge, we are absolutely without doubt that people from here will go and become better in their relative fields of endeavor. And then to our very special guests, you, the students of UMaT, as Professor Douglas Watson said, yes, we come. And indeed, we come. The reason this is going to survive is because of your incredible brains. And the reason this bridge will not break is because of your incredible selves. So give a massive round of applause for yourselves for sitting through this. Again, there's enterprise practitioners here as well, enterprise insurance, enterprise trustees. Enterprise trustees, please, a round of applause for enterprise trustees. And then, because I'm from MIIF, I left the very best for the last. To our chief executive, to our board chairman, to the entire team at MIIF for pulling this off. Please, a massive round of applause for me. And then every time we talk about MIIF, the people at Corporate Affairs and External Relations would like to take funds for us. I'm head of Corporate Affairs and External Relations. This is the first time I'm introducing myself. So you have to give me a round of applause. And then my deputy, who's also my boss at Corporate Affairs, if you're take a bow, take a bow, take a bow. She's the one who's responsible for everything. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure to finally declare that the 2024 MIIF UMaT Speaker Series has been held and it's been a resounding success. A round of applause for yourself. And now I'd like to call on
Reverend Dr. Johannes Ami, the University Chaplain, to give us a closing prayer.
The University Chaplain.
Reverend Dr. Johannes Ami.
Reverend Dr. Johannes Ami.
If he's not here, then we'll kindly call Professor Mrs.
Our Lord and Master Jesus, we thank you for everything that you have done for us this day. Indeed, we as humans try to put this together, and by your grace, it has become a success. We thank you for traveling mercies for all those who travel to this occasion. We thank you for the program that has been a success. We thank you for all the speakers, their lives, and the preservation that you have preserved their lives, and even the wisdom that you've given them to present this to us. Indeed, we are so grateful. We thank you for the students. We thank you for everybody that came. Lord, as we are departing, we are not departing from your presence. We pray that whoever is going to travel to wherever, that you take us safely to our destinations, and your name will forever be glorified. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen.
So, thank you very much. Solo by poetry, thank you as well. We'll take photos now. Kindly take them. And now, Industry people can also come out now. Thank you very much. The media, please. We're going to the Vice Chancellor's residence for networking and interview sessions. Please keep the applause ringing. Keep the applause ringing. Don't stop until the exit. Thank you. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, I also take my bow. Where are my fans? Where are my fans? Eat! Where are my fans? Why are they moving the store? Why are they moving the store? People don't like you. Why? People like you. Nobody like you, sons. People like you. Don't call anybody. The fewer the